Hello, this is Mark Vila with another ColDesi Daily video, and today we're here to talk about creating an email campaign in MailChimp. Now, if you've watched my previous ColDesi Daily video, you should go ahead and check that out if you haven't watched it, I should say. It's going to focus on writing an email. So we've written an email right here. And I've gone through and did a whole video on how we came up with this email and the idea and everything. And now we're going to actually take this email and put it into reality. So this is a two-parter, but it can be watched independently if you don't want to see how I wrote the email. I might reference how I wrote it a few times in this video, though. So let's go ahead and get to it. We've got the subject of our email, the body of what we've written, our call to action, and then a little PS at the end. I've also prepared some images that I'm going to upload and use for this email as well. And then we're going to go ahead and launch the campaign. So let's go ahead and jump right in there. So here we are in MailChimp, and we're going to go ahead and go right to the campaigns. I've done a CAS podcast, a mini cast on creating a MailChimp campaign before, and we've gone over a little bit of this. I recommend checking out that too, because I give some recommendations. So I'll go through a little bit faster than I might have in that other video. So let's create a campaign. We're going to do an email campaign. Name the campaign Custom Vacation Shirts. Okay, so a little bit of what these are. We've got to, from, subject, and content. To is the recipients that we're going to send this to. These are going to be a list that you've already created in MailChimp, and I can create a video on doing that too, but it's a fairly simple process that MailChimp will walk you through. From, who's going to send it. Now I've got it, it defaults to the first name on the account. I'm going to go ahead and edit this. All right, Mark with CD T-shirts. CD T-shirts is a fictional company that I've just put together just for the sake of this. All right, then we have our subject line. Okay, so MailChimp is going to start off by coaching you on this subject line. We'll see how close I got to what they recommend. I'm going to say if you've done the exercise of writing your own subject line and writing an email, and MailChimp makes a suggestion to you, I would follow their rules. They are there to help train you. They've tested a lot of this stuff out, and you can go ahead and feel free to test and work with this over time as you grow and you do more emails to try to deviate from some of their rules, but you can go ahead and just stick with theirs for now. So let's go ahead and get my subject line. Wow, look at these wow, look how these t-shirts turned things up. Cruise photos inside. Okay, so right off the bat, we'll see here, keep it short. They're wanting us to use less than 9 words. They probably have some statistics on how that works. So let's go ahead and do a quick word count. So we've got 11 words. How can we bring this down a little bit? We could do like this. That's 8. Okay, we're in the 9, so look at this. We've nailed everything. Short and sweet. Emojis are great in small quantities. We could add an emoji. I like emojis in emails, in subject lines. I don't always use them. I think they are pretty fun to use. And they definitely capture your attention, specifically on mobile. So if you're trying this out, what I would recommend you do is write the subject line, and in the end we'll get to sending out a test email. Send the test email, go back into the subject line, add an emoji, send the test email again, and see how different it looks on your mobile device. And I think you'll really be impressed with the difference. So here we go. We've got a ship we can add here. All right, so now this technically went over because they're counting this ship as a word. For the sake of this, I'm going to go ahead and leave it in there so you can see. All right, preview text. Now, we didn't pre-write this, and this can be something you can put into your pre-writing of your email. This is the snippet that appears in the inbox after the subject line. So if you're not sure what this means, go to Outlook or go to your mobile device, open up your email, and you're going to see the subject line in bold, and then underneath it, you're going to see maybe a couple sentences of a preview of what the email is about. Now, what's nice about using email marketing software like MailChimp and plenty of others is they allow you to customize this preview text so it can actually be different than what's in the email. And I'll specifically do this to go by this rule. All right, the subject should capture their attention. The preview text should reinforce them wanting to open the email. So let's go ahead and write that based on the email that we wrote together real quick. Check out these awesome custom t-shirts made for a cruise. Have you ever had t-shirts for a vacation before? It's one of my favorite things to make. My rule on this preview text is fill it up, right? I've got 2 characters left. I would say you want to get to at least 20 or less. The reason being is that every different mobile device is going to load up this preview text differently. And I don't want to get into the body of my email yet. I want them to just see this. So what I've written here is we talked about how their shirts turn things up, cruise photos. I want them to check out the shirts. I've asked them if they've ever had shirts for a vacation before. Just kind of a lot of activity here. I've got a question. I've got a statement of what they should do. I've got a question asking them something, and then I've got another statement here about it being a favorite thing. So this hopefully words like favorite, awesome, check out, question all should incite some curiosity for our customer. All right, so now that we've created our subject, we're going to go ahead and go to our content, design email. This is the really fun part or the really frustrating part, okay? So don't get caught up in trying to be Bed Bath & Beyond or Home Depot or any of these places that you shop from. I know that you might open up your email and, Target or Walmart or Advance Auto Parts or Lowe's has beautiful looking emails. I'm telling you, they have a team of people that make these. And it's not just a small team. It is a lot of people that go from writing to programming it. You are just you. This might be you and your business partner, or you and your husband or wife, or you and your father or daughter doing this. You probably don't have a team creating this email. So with that, let's keep it simple. KISS method, right? They have layouts and themes. All right, first we'll talk about the themes. These are cool. I mean, they look nice. They do have a very professional feel. If you want to try to mess with these, feel free. Be prepared to spend some time doing it and, banging your hand on the table a little bit or something like that, or having to walk away for a minute, because it can get frustrating trying to program these things, getting the images exactly the right size, all that stuff. The other thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to use this one, then that one, then that one. It's going to cause brand confusion. If you want to pick one of these themes as an email that you send out consistently, you pick that and you're going to want to stick with that. So for the sake of that, I'm going to say go to layouts. All right, they give you these cool featured ones on top, which I like. I don't dislike these. I still, in my opinion, they're not level 1 yet. These are level 2. This is a second or third email use. So let's keep it very simple. The two templates I want you to work from that I would recommend, especially during your first 5-10 emails, is either a 1-column or a simple text. All right, simple text is you're just going to type words to your customers. A 1-column is you're going to have some pictures. So we're going to do a 1-column because this email has some pictures. Anything else here, it's going to give you some sort of a trouble and frustration trying to build it out, especially if you're brand new to this. Even people with experience will have issues with doing this. It doesn't look right on Outlook. The images don't stack correctly when you look at mobile. There's a lot of reasons, so keep it simple. 1-column or simple text. Today we're going with 1-column. Maybe we'll do a simple text email next time. Okay, so this is great. This software is pretty simple because drag any of the blocks below into the campaign. So basically you take an image, you drag it in, you add another image. right? It's pretty simple. What we're looking at here is you're going to have this little pre-header area. View this email in your browser. MailChimp says it's good to have this. Sometimes emails don't show up well on certain devices, so people will want to click that so they can see it better. Or they've got the images turned off on their device, so they can't actually see the images, and when they click it there. I don't love them. I think they take up some space, but let's go with MailChimp's recommendation for now. Now, logo. Your default logo, hit replace. Here's our logo. Boom, here we go. Now, this is rather large if I'm envisioning this email, right? It's a pretty large logo, so we can actually reduce the size of this. And little side note on this, if you watched a ColDesi daily video from Hannah where she used Canva to create some art, this logo actually created in Canva just for this video. And it took me about 1.5 minutes to make, and it looks pretty cool, I think. So this logo is a little big for this email. The focus of it is not the logo, right? This email is to talk about a business proposition or a specialty that my business does. The logo is just there to remind them who is sending this email. And the next time they see an email with this logo on top, they know it's from me. It becomes familiar. If they happen to see a Facebook ad for me in the future, they'll recognize this. If they get my business card or see this on a t-shirt or in my shop, it's brand recognition. It's not a giant billboard necessarily. So I'm going to bring this size down. I want it large enough so they can see what it is, small enough that it's not the main show. Simple enough. Save and close. And that's all this does. You can save and close. All right, it's time to design your email. Okay, now here is where I'm going to help you reduce some headaches when it comes to dealing with MailChimp and dealing with any of these what you see is what you get builders, right? If I just do this, look at what happened there. I'll do it again for you. I just hit delete here, and all of a sudden this is, something funky here's happened. Then I hit enter, and now it's back here again. And now I'm trying to resize it, and now this looks different than this, right? So here's what we do: delete the whole thing. All right. Make sure there's nothing there. You can click this little source, and it should be blank as well. This is the code. This is what you see is what you get. Just delete it all. You're going to be happier. It's going to be much more stress-free for you. All right, so now let's go ahead and copy your email in. Now, here's another thing that I recommend if you're going to do a copy and paste in your emails. It's going to give you a bunch of headaches. If you paste it here, you're going to get a bunch of weird code in here. You're going to try to change sizes. It might not work. You're going to try to change fonts. It doesn't work. All this stuff. So if you're going to paste, just go right into there. Just paste it as plain text because we can fix it. All right, now that I've got my text in there, let's go ahead and edit it through. Hi, first name. All right, we're just going to go through this line by line. So hi, I've got these merge tags. Okay, these are all the fields that are in my MailChimp lists. You may have birthdays, phone numbers, addresses. There's lots of information in here. For the case of this, we're using first name. Okay. When you're doing this, by the way, this data has to be present for it to work, right? If you're collecting email addresses and you don't have a first name field, then first names won't show up. It's going to be blank here, right? I'm confident that makes sense to a bit. So whenever I upload lists, I always make sure to have a first name, last name, email. That's a bare minimum. Every single list you have, you want to have those. This way you can do this. Hi, first name. It's nice. Okay, so let's go ahead. I've noticed my customers really love matching vacation t-shirts. I thought you would too. Now, I had bolded this. I like in emails using bold underlines, color changes, things like that, just to put some emphasis on some certain things. So here's why you should get some custom t-shirts for your next family friends vacation. Check this out. All right. So now I had suggested probably putting an email. I'm sorry, an image here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to need to get rid of this because this is now going to be a different section. I'll save that. I'm just going to put this text block here. Remember, I'm going to delete the whole thing. Now, since I copied it out of MailChimp, I'm not as scared to paste it right back in. And we're going to leave this aside for now. All right, image. So I'm going to drag an image right there. Check this out. Upload an image. So I've got my images here. Here's our little group photo. Here's a picture of our t-shirts. So I'm going to play with this a little bit. I'm going to see how this looks. So let's go here. Let's just see how this one looks here. It's a little funky for this area. I don't like it. Replace. Let's go with the group photo. Okay, cool. I actually kind of like how that looks here. Check this out. All right, so we've got our initial here and we've got our image. Now, hopefully this image here is enough to capture some attention and get them to read on. But if I'm looking at it, it's a little tall and large. I think I can cut this down to just make the image just kind of squeeze in a little tighter. So this is actually really easy to do. They're also giving us an error. This image is so big it might cause slow load times. So they let us fix this, right? So first we can hit let's fix this. And it brings up their editor. And it told us that 800 to 1200 pixels wide, right? That's the maximum. So when we go here, you can see that this has been lifted up. The width was put to 1200. Now I'm going to go to a custom here and I'm going to try to shrink this down and then I'll move around the width. So let's go ahead and do 1200, but I'm also going to reduce the height. Let's try 600. Okay, I'm seeing something that's happening here. I'm not able to do custom. I actually want to do custom. Now, if I choose these, I'm going to show you custom too, but actually just looking at this by coincidence, the 16:9 actually works well. But let me show you guys custom. I wanted to do that for you. So don't click let's fix this. Let's click edit. Now I'll have this custom. I didn't notice that there before. Now I can unlock my dimensions and I can go to 1200 by 600. And that's going to give me a certain size, right? I can now pull this, right, as well. I can pull this and kind of get that sizing that I was looking for. I could see, all right, it's still adjusting some of this actually on me here. That's okay. Now I can lock the dimensions in. 1200 by 680. There we go. And I've changed the size of my image and got it to fit within the parameters. I can go even smaller too if I want. Now if I click save, here we go. We've got the image is tighter. We've lost some of that mess on top. That doesn't matter. We can see that we've got the group photo here from everybody that was on this cruise. And I can also go through here and adjust the display size if I want to. And we can see if we mess with this, if it looks any better or not. But for now, we'll look at 100%. So let's get here, go down to the rest of the text. Let me tell you a short story. Great customers of mine, the Jetsons, were going on a cruise last summer. Skinny was getting married and they wanted custom shirts for their cruise. They said it really made the trip 100 times better. So here we go. Here are some examples of what they said. Now I had bullet points right here. Okay, let's just fix this up a little bit. All we're doing is hitting enter. You can select the area that were bullet points and there's actually bullet points in here. So here we go. So look at that in this preview. Remember, you're editing here, but you're looking over here. And it kind of gets a little weird, but you want to go back and forth. Look here, edit here. Now let's go ahead and see if there's anything we want to emphasize. I did make this all caps. I can also bold it if I want to emphasize it a little bit more. Now, in these bullets, we can also see if there's anything we want to emphasize. We could say it was hysterical. And we can also, instead of that, we can underline it. Depending on the... My thought is the italics and underlines are a little bit of an emphasis. Bold is a lot. Bold and all caps is the most. This is just a visual thing. If you're looking at... if you're just do a little exercise, right? Write a bunch of these emails and quickly look over, your eyes immediately are going to go to the big bold stuff, right? And then the underlines and the will probably catch the next, and then the italics, you can just tell it's slightly different. So if I'm looking at this underline here, it's not quite as attention grabbing as if I were to do the bold. See if we could see that right there. Do we want to do amazing too? Amazing and never forget. These are all power words to me. Hysterical. We can even, let me see how it looks with just this. Okay. So looking at this real quick, I'm seeing hysterical, amazing, never forget. So right now, if I'm just looking at this email, I'll read my bold just to see what the story says. I thought you would too. I might want to say really love as well. All right. Really love. I thought you would too. Picture. Really made the trip 100 times better. Hysterical, amazing, never forget. That's a pretty... That story, it's an inspiring story in and of itself, right? So this is how I would create some things. And there's a bunch of other ways to do this. This is just for this particular email. You could do this by making headings, using images, changing the color of text, highlighting things. There's a lot of ways to do this. This is only one of many ways, but I find this to be a simple one. You're writing paragraphs and adding bold, right? Let's finish this up. I've always thought personalized t-shirts make a vacation. We can bold this as well if we'd like. I probably will, since we're going with that as a theme. This is why I've chosen to make it one of my specialties. So now that I'm reading this, I want this sentence to be... This sentence should have some emphasis. So we can bold this as well. All right, so now I've got some more images I want to share with folks before I get to my close, I think. Or maybe I'll do it in my PS, but let's see. So let's save and close this. Now I'm going to show you an image group. Earlier I said, watch out for the templates that have groups, right? And typically the reason is because you're going to have images, you're going to be messing with styles and settings, you might have a text that goes next to it or under it, and that's where things get funky. If you're just putting in two images, and I'll show you how this works, usually it's not that big of a deal, especially you don't know if this one's going to be on the top on mobile or that one, and you'll see what I mean. So let's go ahead and pick a couple of images. I like this image of the back of the shirt, and here's a nice picture from the actual cruise itself. I don't know if I'm going to use these or not, but I have these and they could tell part of the story. Let's go ahead and go back to my email. And I've got some things to fix here. We're going to work on that if we choose to keep these. So call to action. Let's add our text. Remember, delete everything. Go here, paste it in here. Go out of that. It's a headache saver. That's all it is. Now another thing we can do is we can add a divider. And what I like about putting a divider in there like this is it separates this is the story, this is the next thing to look at. It helps to separate it. What can happen visually is you skip this, you look at the picture, you look at the bold, you look at a picture, right? When you add this is like a stop almost in your brain. So you look at this and your brain pauses for a second, and then immediately you go to here, right? Planning a vacation. So we can use that to our advantage. Here I'll show you we can do a center, and we can make this a heading. You can see how heading 3, heading 2, come on, heading 2. That looks pretty good right there. I'm also going to change, I'm going to hit reply. It sounds very simple to just hit reply, right? To talk about great ideas for custom t-shirts. Ideas are 100% free. I like this sentence right here. I might not want to necessarily emphasize it too much, because this is my call to action. I want them to hit reply. That is the number one thing I want them to do, is to just hit reply to talk about some great ideas for custom t-shirts. That's the goal of this whole campaign. I'm not trying to sell a t-shirt yet. I'm not trying to get them to sign up for anything. I'm not even necessarily trying to get them to call me. I don't want them to hit reply. They hit reply, hey, I'm going on a vacation next fall. We're getting married next year. We plan on doing bachelorette, bachelor party, cruises, whatever it might be. You want them to hit reply and talk to you about this. All right. And then you can add this little finish. And I love to chat about this stuff. Oh, and you can also call me right here. I would put it in the area code always, even if all your customers are local to you. If you put in the 10 digit on the email, most every mobile device is going to be clickable on this. So what that means is, in this email, they can actually just click their finger right here on their mobile device and call you. That's a great thing right there. Now, we've got a PS to put in. Still thinking about those. Still thinking about these right here. Because it's a PS, I'm going to go ahead and put in another divider. But there's no real rules to this stuff specifically. There's lots of things that people can say, and the only thing you could really do is to get into email testing. That's what this video is not about. But I'm going to separate this area from this area from this area. Here's my PS. Oh, here we go. By the way, I forgot to say goodbye. Best regards. New keyboard today, by the way. Just got this in. So, Mark from CD T-shirts. Okay, there we go. And if you can put in your email address and phone number and things like that here. Remember, don't distract too much. The goal was to just hit reply. So if I put my website here or my Facebook page here or anything like that, they don't just hit reply. They click on that. And you'll see a percentage of people will. It might be 10%, it might be 15%. Those are all people who may potentially have hit reply. So be careful about what you're going to add in here. All right, so we got our PS. I'm going to do this. I just delete everything, paste it in here. I find it always works well. I'm going to say it again. All right, let me reread this because I'm rethinking things. Taking pride in making shirts that you love is my specialty. I guarantee it. I still like all of this. Since I do have a couple of extra photos. By the way, if you watched the last email, you'll notice that I did make a couple changes. I added this skinny. This was actually something that I did over 5 years ago. I knew these people. I made these shirts for them, and that's kind of just by coincidence. When I did a random word generator to generate what we were going to talk about in this email. If you watch that other video, you'll see. but it ended up in a cruise, and I was like, I wonder if I still have those photos. So I went to my mobile device and it kept scrolling, and I went back about 5 years in images, probably about 5,000 photos, and boom, this photo popped up. And I had a few others. I had these two right here. So I said, I can use this. This is awesome. I don't actually have to create art and print t-shirts and everything. I actually have a real life example. So what an inspiring story, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and finish. Let's go back to our PS. Since I have these images, let's just fix this up. Take a look at the back of the t-shirt, and this new keyboard, I can't type. All right, take a look at the back of the t-shirt and a picture of the private island they visited on their cruise. All right, sometimes you could be witty here. I'm gonna try to be funny. Gorgeous. I'm going to add one more note. I'm going to give them another call to action right here. All right, let's see what I wrote here. These t-shirts were, all right, P.S. Take a look at the back of the t-shirt, funny, and a picture of the private island, gorgeous, they visited on their cruise. So I'm describing each one of those, because it is funny back of a t-shirt and it is a beautiful picture. And sometimes you could be witty, like stuff like that, in these little things right here. So next step, these t-shirts were printed on our direct-to-garment printer. Hit reply to ask me about why this t-shirt printing is the best for vacation shirts. I can give you a bunch of reasons why now, if you're curious, but I would say it's a really lightweight print. We can print it a ton of colors on a light colored garment pretty quickly. So we can put a picture, like we've got a picture of a face on here. It's really lightweight, so if it's hot out and you're wearing a white t-shirt that's thin, it doesn't have thick plastic on it like screen printing might, or it's not going to be as heavy as vinyl might be, and it's more versatile than vinyl. So there we go. There are some things that I can have a conversation about. There's a short and quick on it though. So there we go. I've snuck in an extra call to action in my PS, which we talked about before. PS, you either want to add more to your call to action or just say something nice about your business or remind them of something, but it's never to distract. So now that I decided I'm going to keep these, let's go ahead and fix this. Okay, so it looks like MailChimp, because when I first put them in here, you saw the error, right? MailChimp went ahead and just kind of figured it out. But let me show you. We're going to do the same thing we would have done before. You edit, you adjust your dimensions, all that stuff. You hit save. So there we go. What I like about using good software like this, is that sometimes it'll just kind of fix things for you. That's splendid. So the next thing we've got here is they automatically in this template are going to go ahead and put in some social links. I've got mixed feelings and emotions about keeping these in here because remember, we said there was a goal of this email. Is the goal of this email to get them to click on my Twitter or Facebook account? No. However, is clicking on here going to guide them to a place that puts a little bit more trust in me? So maybe they read this. Oh, I remember I met this guy. I met this guy at one of those farmers markets. He had a little t-shirt stand. I signed up for his emails. Delete. That could happen. So putting something like this is going to be for those percentage of people. Let me check him out. Facebook. See a bunch of your pictures. So I'm torn on this. You could do some testing. It's all going to be different for every different type of customer list and group of people. For now, I'm getting rid of it. I've got 2 of these breaker lines in here, it looks like maybe. Yeah, so we can get rid of this one. All right, next is going to be your copyright and address and preferences and unsubscribes. Just don't touch this in the beginning. You have to have it to send an email out. If you delete it, they're going to put it back in anyway, okay? It's just law. email law stuff. So you want to have that in there. So anyway, this email visually looks pretty good so far. I feel I'm pretty happy with it. Let's go ahead and preview it next. So preview. First one, just go right. You can go down the list, but enter preview mode. Okay, this is the first place I always look. It's going to give you a preview of what it would look like if you were to open this up on your Gmail or Outlook or something like that. It shows your subject line. Here's our cool little emoji, our preview text. Here's the image, the email, nice and clean. This is when you go through and you reread everything, check for typos, see if there's anything you want to change. Go ahead and click on mobile. Same thing. This is what it's going to look like. Now, we talked about the images, right? They're next to each other on desktop. On mobile, they're on top of each other. This is part of the reason for side-by-side text and images. You really need to plan this out because you have to understand how this is going to stack on mobile. And if it doesn't make sense for the story you're telling, it's going to look weird. You're going to fumble with it all the time. And you're probably not a master of programming emails now, right? So, but this is just two pictures, so I'm not too worried about it. It wouldn't really have mattered if this one was on top or not, right? All right, so we look good. Now I can enable my live merge tag. This is going to test that hi first name. Hi test first name. Hi Mark. Hi Hannah. Hi Mark. All right, so now what's interesting about this? I noticed in my data that I have lower cases here. So I've got uppercase for mine, but in the Hannah's, it's a lowercase. So now, do we fix this? Do we keep going? The perfectionist would keep going. I mean, if the perfectionist would fix it. It's not. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave it for now because it doesn't matter too much because this isn't a real campaign. But what you can do is you can go in and you can edit that. Let's close this. All right, so we're all good with our email. We've created something that looks pretty darn professional and fun. And let's click continue. So here we are. We automatically added a required rewards badge to your email footer. To remove the badge, upgrade your account. Okay, so what does that mean, right? Let's click on the preview just to show you what that means. MailChimp right here. This is a free account. They're going to tell everybody MailChimp sent this as part of this. Hey, we're giving you this for free. All right, if you want to get rid of that, you upgrade for the 10, 15, 20 bucks a month better one. If you don't mind in the beginning as your small time, it's not too big of a deal. I don't like it because it is a distraction. I can click on this and it will send me somewhere, which is not to me or my customers. I don't like that necessarily, but it's also free. What are you going to do? All right, so next you can send a test email. Just type in your email address, hit send, and you can go ahead and check out how it looks. You can also include some instructions. I kind of like this. It's a nice little thing you can do. And this way, and you can also send it to you. This is what I recommend you do. Best thing right here. Send it to friend. Obviously, these are real email addresses, by the way. Mom, hubby, partner, whatever. Send it to a few people that you know. They're real email addresses. Let them know you're sending it. Text them, call them, and put in here, can you review this and comment? Whatever you might want to do. These should be trusted people who will have some good opinions to share. And then the last note on that is just because they tell you to change something doesn't mean you have to. All right, this is your business and your email. You get to make some decisions here. But if they notice a misspelling, that's a great thing. If they notice that it didn't show up right, oh, it looks weird on my one of the images didn't load. Maybe you can delete that image out or try to upload it again or something like that. So it helps you. And if you send it to 5 people and 3 of them have the same opinion, maybe it's a good idea to consider that. All right. So next we're going to go ahead and send or schedule this. We're going to schedule it. So Let's see. Send at a specific time. Oh, okay. So here we go. Actually, we're not going to schedule it because it looks like they've made it now where you got to upgrade to schedule it. Okay. So upgrade to standard or essential to be able to do these. You can let MailChimp optimize the send time. You just hit it and they will pick the time zone and the time to send it. That'll be most likely for people to open it. I like that. Send at a specific time. Maybe you want to send all your emails at Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's cool. And so on and so forth. So for now, that means we can't do that. I can just send it. So I'm going to hit send. You're about to send this to 3 people. Since this is a fictional send, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and send it. High five. Your email will go out shortly. It's going to take a few minutes. It's going to start to go out. You can also click this right here. This is the way that they're going to see it in their browser. This is pretty cool. You can also share it. This is actually a cool thing to do. You can copy this link and you can share it on Twitter or on Facebook and actually not have to redo everything. You can just click on this Facebook and boom, it shares it right to it. That's pretty cool. So that's it, everybody. Thank you for listening to this ColDesi Daily video on creating an email in MailChimp. I know it was packed with a lot of stuff, but we created a pretty cool looking email that looked pretty nice and was very mindful of creating some real call to actions for your business. And you could see this wasn't hard to do at all. Anyone can do it. So thank you so much. And check out our next ColDesi Daily video.